So you're in the market to purchase a home. You've been shopping around lenders. They've been putting these numbers in front of you and those numbers in front of you. And then, after enough digging, after enough due diligence, after enough nosing around, you find a lender that is offering you an interest rate that is way below where anyone else is at. Praise Jesus, you did it. All those lenders tried to tell you where rates were at, but you went out and found something that was extremely lower than what those idiots had quoted. Congratulations. You failed yourself. That's right. One of the most egregious ways that lenders will lie to borrowers is just throwing interest rates out there without any sort of context on how they got there. So today we're going to talk through exactly how lenders will lie about this and the right questions for you to ask. So everybody is wrapped around the axle about interest rates, and understandably so. They're high, but it's not really just the rates themselves, right? It's the cost of homes, and it's also just the cost of life. Like everything mixed together makes purchasing a home as hard or harder for the average American than it has ever been before, right? That also means that people in the real estate industry are as desperate for business as they've ever been before. And in my world, in the world of mortgages, there's a lot of lying going on. There's a lot of duplicitous people going on. There's a lot of misleading of borrowers going on. There's a lot of taking advantage of people's lack of knowledge or education on loans, interest rates, and just the mortgage game in general. But we're going to fix some of that today, and we're going to start with the interest rate. So here's what I see. At least once a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times, I'll get a borrower, reaches out to me. You know, maybe I've been talking to them already, maybe I haven't. We're like, hey, I just got off the phone with ABC lender and they're going to give me blank rate, which is a rate about a 0.25% to a full percent lower than where interest rates are generally at, right? And, you know, sometimes the people are kind of wanting to run it by me because they know I'm an honest broker. They're like, hey, does this seem right to you? Some people are like, ha, I told you, Mike. You said rates were here, but I'm getting this. Victory for me. Ugh. So here's the deal, y'all. Don't ever let a lender just say an interest rate, right? Because the truth is, up until the point where you have a locked loan estimate in front of you, and that means that you are under contract on a home and they have given you an official loan estimate in the government's required format and the interest rate is locked. Until that day, you have to take everything you see with a grain of salt, because the only truth is a lender can lie their ass off right up until that moment. So we've all seen like a fee sheet, right? So every lender has kind of a different version of it. It might look a little bit different. Most of them will contain at least the same information. Those things are basically meaningless. You know, now if you're working with an honest lender, you know, you can put some stock in it, but a lot of lenders will purposely fudge, lie, misconstrue numbers on those to make the product seem better than it's really going to be in the long run. So a fee sheet is essentially meaningless. Some pre-approval letters will have an interest rate on it. Totally meaningless. I can give you a pre-approval right now with an interest rate of 2% on it. You really think you're going to get it? Okay? Totally meaningless. All right? Some lenders will put some garbled nonsense in an email. Oh yeah, you're going to get 4.75, blah, 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 blah. Meaningless. They can say whatever they want to try to rope in your business. Okay? Locked loan estimate. That's the ultimate. That's the first time all the cards are on the table. So everything leading up to that, you got to ask the right questions, okay? So when it comes to interest rates, this is the question, all right? Pay attention. What are the costs and fees that go into this interest rate? Okay, I'm going to say that again. What are the costs and fees that go into this interest rate? Now, a lot of slick lenders will start immediately with, well, there's no discount points. Stop. That's what you tell them. Stop. I didn't ask you about discount points. I asked you about costs and fees. And this is why that verbiage is so important, is because lenders can pass on the cost of rate in a lot of different ways, not just discount points. When you see as many LEs and CDs as I do, you'll see a lot of different names for it. Administrative fees, underwriting fees, processing fees, origination charges. Like, these are all the same thing of ways of passing on various costs of the loan to you as a borrower. So here's something I see a lot. You know, there's that certain company out there that pretends they're the VA. We all know who it is. So what they'll get a borrower on the phone. They'll get Private Mike Lindsay on the phone. Like, hey, bro, we're going to give you this rate, super competitive, badass, we love you, you're on top of it, right? So Private Mike Lindsay's excited because he thinks he's getting this great rate. But when he gets his actual loan estimate, there's this weird thing called an origination charge of 1% of the loan amount. Very confusing stuff. So Private Mike Lindsay's like, well, I thought the rate was free. And sure enough, there are no discount points, right? Which is the cost, the straight up cost of buying down an interest rate. But there is this origination charge. So while he didn't pay discount points, he's still paying for that rate, just in another way. And I see this all the time from lenders. And unfortunately, a lot of buyers get taken to the woodshed this way, and they get led astray this way. Okay, I mean, just this week, we have a buyer, under contract, competitive rate, no fees, no cost, a true par rate. And when I say par, I mean like even Steven, free or as close to free as there is. And this person gets an email from another company promising this rate here. And then they talk to their friend down the road who got this rate on their pre-approval. And I understand. I understand what the world is like out there because I live in it too. But I have to sit down with them and say, hey, okay, I know these rates seem good, but we have to get the context, right? We got to know what goes into this, because I can give you any rate you want, really, but it's just a matter of what costs and fees go into it. It doesn't make sense to pay those, because a lot of times 0.25% doesn't move the needle as much on the monthly payment as the consumer tends to think. So if you take anything away from this video, it is that everything up to a locked loan estimate, meaning you're under contract, you've got the federal government's required loan estimate, and the interest rate is locked. Everything up until that moment, you need to take with a bit of grain of salt, because lenders, there's not really a lot of constraints for lenders not to lie their asses off on those other documents. And by other documents, I mean pre-approvals, fee sheets, emails, promises made over text, promises made in a personal conversation. All that is freaking meaningless, man. So if somebody is quoting you a rate or a cost of rate that is just blows everybody else out of the water, it bears investigating. Okay, because all lenders are working off of the same federal rates. It's not like these guys over here have one set of rate, these guys over here have another set of rates. They're all working off of this single rate. It's the company's margins, profit margins, and all the things they're trying to throw into that loan and costs they're trying to pass on to you. That's the difference you see between lenders. So if one person is blowing everybody else out of the water, dig into it. And if you ever see anything that you have questions with, please reach out to me. I have people from all over the country reaching out to me every week, sending me fee sheets, loan estimates, CDs, sometimes screenshots of emails or texts, whatever. And Mike, is this legit? And I look, guys, whether you use me as a lender or not, I'm gonna tell you the truth. This looks real good. I see how they're doing this. You're getting a great deal. Or that is a load of bullshit. Okay? Don't let anybody take advantage of you with promises. Okay? Do your due diligence. Talk with someone that you trust. Bounce everything off of someone else that has some level of experience in these matters. And never take an interest rate at face value. Always ask the question, what are the costs and fees associated with this interest rate? If you have any questions about this, please reach out. We'll set up a phone consult. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other content.